Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the NERDWatch podcast. I, of course, am G Money. You're on another lovely Tuesday evening right here in the heart of Wailuku Town on the beautiful island of Maui in the great state of Hawaii. And yes, boys and girls, I am joined by a variable crew of nerds. And yes, let me introduce them here while I have the chance. First off, joining us this evening, this next gentleman happens to be our man in black. He is also the man who is the master of card tricks, loves playing World of Warcraft, and loves putting birds in his pants because magic. Ladies and gentlemen, say what's up to Phormat.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, he's here. All right. Also, joining us this evening, the man we have been waiting for this evening. Yes, boys and girls, the man we've been waiting for this evening, waiting to start this program. This next gentleman is our Dark Knight. He's the man who flies around Maui County with a cape, a cowl, and a utility belt, fighting crime and racial prejudice all across Maui County. Ladies and gentlemen, he is also a horror aficionado. He is our punk rock superstar. He's an all-around Bruce Wayne, and he's also, more importantly, the NERDWatch's hero. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and show a little reverence for the man we call Gannon! How's it going, Gannon?
I don't know how to take an all-around Bruce Wayne. What does that mean? Because I'm certainly not as rich as Bruce Wayne. I know I'm not as good looking as Bruce Wayne. And I don't hang around with little kids like Bruce Wayne. So where does the Bruce Wayne stuff kick in?
Hang around with little kids like Bruce Wayne? Does Bruce Wayne hang around with little kids?
He likes to dress them up in tights and make them parade around with them all the time. Wow.
All right. I was not expecting that at all. All right. Moving on to our next contestant. He is our godfather of comic books. He is also the chairman of the comic book board. He is the sinister minister of Maui Comic-Con and the self-proclaimed comic master. He is freaky. He is deaky. He is definitely leaky, and his bibbities are quite streaky. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Dr. Freaky Daddy Leaky. It's Alika! How's it going, Alika? You doing all right? Hey, Polar Knights joined us in the chat. He said, good morning from Norway. How's it going there, Polar Knights? Glad you could join us on the Twitchy Twitches.
We should start a Norwegian morning talk show. Good morning, Norway.
How about Gannon starts what do they call it in Norway? Is it black metal?
Porno?
Porno? I don't think black metal is exclusive to Norway.
Oh, it's not. But the best black metal.
There is Norwegian death metal.
That's the one, Norwegian death metal. There we go. That's the one.
But I don't know what makes it specific to the region or not. I guess Mr. or I don't know, Miss Polarness. We don't know.
Are you coaching
answer that question better?
Are you coaching Gannon to do some cultural appropriation?
I am like the benchmark of appropriatism.
Polar Knight says it is a great day. He says he or she says his mother-in-law is stuck in quarantine the next 14 days. So wow. Good Lord. I thought it was down to 7 to 10 days now. I had no idea. Anyway, Polar Knights, thanks for joining us on Twitch. You will see your comments and hear your comments right here on the show. And by the way, that also goes with the other two places we're simulcasting on Facebook and on YouTube. You can check us out on Facebook.com/The NERDWatch, on YouTube at NERDWatch Nation, and on Twitch at NERDWatch 808. Of course, we tell you all the latest news and reviews and everything that has to do with nerd pop culture right here on the NERDWatch. So before we get into all of that, the best part of the show, of course, well, according to Alika, is what we're going to talk about next. Every single week, every single Wednesday is new Comic Book Wednesday. You're going to want to check it out every single Wednesday. And let's find out what's new this week in the world of the comic books. Alika, it's another day.
My hold on, my screen turned off. I
All right.
All right. Actually, let me read the DC list first then.
Oh,
There you go.
Stupid
all right.
Screen.
DCC Comics. DCC. All right, let's go.
Catwoman, number 29.
Is it Future State Catwoman?
No, just regular.
Regular
Catwoman.
Okay. Got it.
Regular ass.
Regular ass.
That's the banner on over Catwoman is just as regular. That's DC. That would be incredible if DC came out of Future State and their new crossover to come back into regular continuity was regular ass DC Comics. Like there's regular ass Batman and regular ass
Shazam and regular ass Shazam.
Yeah.
Okay, there's nothing regular about Batman's ass. I want to make that clear.
Are you sure? No, we're talking about regular ass Catwoman.
Yeah.
Nothing regular about that one either.
How dare you?
All right.
All right, what's going on?
The attention of the Dark Knight, it's spectacular, sir. Come on now.
Justice League number 59 with three Zack Snyder Justice League Snyder cut covers.
Beautiful.
Man.
I've got the Snyder cut variant covers. I think one of them depicts Cyborg being emotionally abused by Joss Whedon. It's kind of weird.
Makes sense.
Choice for the cover.
Is the other one color corrected, and is the other cover black and white?
Yeah.
Whoa, hold on a second. Why did he bring up Cyborg and the first thing you thought of was color correction?
Because that's what
Come on now, what the hell?
That's not what I said.
Joss Whedon did it. That's what Joss Whedon's like. Could you lighten up Cyborg a little? Like he's like looking at Ray Fisher in the eye while he's saying it. And Walter Hamada's just like laughing in the corner. He's like, "Yes, do that, Joss."
He's like, "Here's a picture of Kid and Play. This is the one I want him to look like more."
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, jeez. All right, what's next?
Are you the guy who's leaking all this info to Bleeding Cool? Because
was I spot on? Did you really say that?
That sounds accurate. Superman, Red and Blue, number 1 of 6.
Shout out to Ron Cataguy, the man who is responsible for putting the Great North
Superman.
the Great North animated series together. Ron Cataguy, nice to have you here. It's regular ass Ron Cataguy.
Hey, come on. You know what? It's okay to be regular ass. I'm regular ass.
All right. Big shout out. Donovan says, "Hey, Uncle Gannon, how's it going?"
Your regular ass nephew tuning in.
That's so wacky. Awesome. I don't even know what to say about that. My nephew's watching the show, and yet I don't feel compelled to behave. I don't know what that is.
All right,
because we're all not adults.
That was the DC list. So now I'm going to get to the Diamond shipment, which is coming tomorrow. I'm actually getting that tomorrow. Better than your regular ass. Ron Cataguy. Spoken like a guy who's been there.
Donovan says, "Hey now, old man, I ain't regular." So
I'm not the one that said that. So he must be calling Alika old man.
Yeah, when he says old man, it could mean any one of us because we're all pretty old.
Yeah.
Well, but if he knew anything, he would know that Greg's the oldest of us.
That is also true.
Because Greg is 55.
But I'm honestly the most youngest looking of all of you. But anyway, moving on.
Why'd you just make your eyes squint right then? That's weird.
I feel like I need an adult when Greg is near.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. What else for DC?
No, DC's over, buddy. Now we're
all right. No more DC comics.
There's like 5 books coming out, and then there's like 4 covers for each one. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, basically.
Nice.
Amazing Spider-Man number 61.
Ooh.
Blade
regular
Runner.
ass
When will he ever stop being amazing? Yeah. When will he ever stop being amazing?
When he's spectacular.
Phormat already said it. Regular ass Spider-Man.
Regular ass Spider-Man.
Regular ass amazing Spider-Man.
Children of the Atom number 1. That should be a fun book.
Yeah.
Let's see. Deadpool
Maybe-
Nerdy 30.
Nice.
Deadpool Nerdy 30 celebration number 1.
All right.
That sounds like a one shot, anyways. But Deadpool Nerdy
Yeah, it
30.
is.
Let's see, what do we got? The Goon number 13.
Hey, that's by that Brian Powell guy.
Eric Powell, you idiot.
Okay,
Immortal Hulk number 44.
got it. Jason Powell.
Nope. Eric Powell. He's a
Okay.
genius.
Man, gee, you make like
Hey,
the
wait,
worst Mortal
Immortal
Kombat
Hulk
ninja.
What?
does the next Immortal Hulk have any anti-Jewish stuff in this one?
No, well, I don't know. I haven't not read it, so who's to say, really?
Can we
Judging
just
by-
make an assumption that there isn't?
Well, it's not a safe assumption after issue 43.
Book's not out yet.
Yeah.
Don't you think they would have previewed it before it goes out just for that?
Yeah, you would have
You
thought they did that, but then issue 43 made it to market and sold all its copies.
And it's now a collector's item. Only in
Yeah.
Maui Comics.
Yeah. No, not a collectible thing.
I think Alika sold me the only one at cover price.
Yeah, he did he?
No, I just
By the
feel
way-
they're like, you know why? Because there are subscribers to that book. So
Yeah.
I can't. They weren't going to reissue a reprint, so I had to sell the subscribers that copy of the book. You just feel dirty doing it because it's so gross.
What's it called?
Gannon,
I still
Would you get
say,
in trouble with that, even though
it
those are
was an accident. I say that was a misprint and an
it's
accident.
not an accident. Go look at the panel. It's not an accident.
It's
All
not,
right.
dude. If you actually looked at the panel, it's way not an accident.
By the way, I'm wearing this mask in honor of Polar Nights. So,
Sure, whatever
so,
that means.
yeah.
Why?
Because I'm wearing it in solidarity of him or her being, in quarantine.
It's their mom.
I think you're just trying to make
Oh,
yourself
it's their
less
mom.
ugly.
Oh,
You're
Oh,
trying to make
got it.
yourself less ugly in front of strangers.
how dare you? I'm a handsome young man. Anyway,
Carmen.
moving on.
You're the
You're
only one
the
saying that.
ugliest Mortal Kombat ninja in the roster.
Carmen, number 1 from Image Comics.
I want that.
Carmen.
I want
San
that.
Diego.
Is it based off of that contemporary Christian singer?
Greg,
No.
stop talking.
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
Maiden, number 1 of 8.
Oh yes,
So-
that's what I asked you about.
We are getting Maiden.
Hmm.
Let's see. Non-stop Spider-Man, Gannon.
Oh yeah.
That's
Regular
funny.
ass.
No,
Is
that's
he
what I'm
nonstop regular ass Spider-Man?
He just
Greg,
doesn't.
don't-
He just
Greg.
doesn't stop being regular.
Don't be stupid. It's non-ass Spider-Man.
It's not ass Spider-Man. Gotcha. That's, by the way, that's the name of the show. It's going to be Regular Ass NERDWatch.
Yeah, regular ass
Yeah.
NERDWatch.
Isn't that every episode though?
Yeah, but this one in particular.
Star Wars, number 12. Strange Academy, number 9.
All right, Bill Burr, Star Wars. You can't even say Star Wars. You can't do it.
Star Wars.
That's,
I
you do
figure
it.
you would be a Bill Burr fan now that
I'm a huge Bill Burr fan.
gone
Huge.
back for
I'm
Gina
an even
Carano.
bigger Burr fan now than I was back then.
Yeah. So what are you talking about, man?
No, you just sound like every time you say it with this Boston accent. Every time you say Star Wars, you don't say Star Wars. You say
I
Star
say
Wars.
Star
Every
Wars.
every
Star
freaking
Wars.
time. I swear to God, I'm not joking.
You wouldn't even think that if you didn't know he was there.
I would still think that because he keeps the R off of it. All right, anyway. All right, let's go. Move on.
Let's see.
Are you that flummoxed?
No, I just can't. I'm trying to look for books that on the list I haven't read yet. Wolverine, Black, White, and Blood, number 404.
Black,
And-
White, and Blood. Wow.
Yep. They actually, and there's another series coming out about Carnage, the same thing, and there a lot of the popular, like even Batman and Superman are doing, the 2-color, 1-color stuff. So that's the comic list.
Well, listen, since we're on Marvel, let's talk a little bit about the announcement of the mutants. Can you and Phormat shed a little light on what the hell that is exactly and what can we expect?
Me?
Yeah, both of you.
Nobody, like, they just said that that's going to be the tentative.
Well,
I mean,
okay.
I really,
At the beginning of time, there were the Celestials, right? So they went and they. No, not that far back.
Not that far back. I just want to know
Oh.
what it is. Is it part of the cinematic universe? Is it part of the comic book universe? What are we doing here with them?
Oh,
Greg.
MCU. As far as I understand.
MCU. Got it.
Has any of that actually been officially announced, or is it just speculation? I haven't seen anything that said it was official.
I was going off of my colleagues here who said that it was Phormat in particular said it was officially announced that it would be the mutants.
Was it?
I heard it off of where did I read it? I read it off of a thing earlier today.
Yeah, I mean, I've read the rumor mill about it, but I haven't seen it officially coming out of Disney. This is what they were doing.
Well, I have my question was, and I said this off the air. Maybe those that are watching and or listening, by the way,
Can you guys do the Google searching for us and let us know what's going on?
yeah, let us know. But here's what I want to know: I was talking to Alika offline earlier, asking if they're going with mutants, is the X-Men name tarnished because of Fox and the Fox movies? That way, they're not using it.
That's the stupidest question I've ever heard.
I'm just asking.
I don't think it is. Like, you could easily just put X-Men there. I'm hoping the reason why they went with, or are maybe going with, since we don't have anything confirmed, with the mutants as opposed to the X-Men, is because they want to highlight, like what they did with Tony Stark. Nobody thought Iron Man was going to be a hit. So they grabbed, the sideline characters and turned them into one. So here's hoping for a Dazzler solo movie. Oh, yeah.
All right, sweet. Maybe we'll get Trailer Swift to be Dazzler.
You just say Trailer Swift?
I meant Taylor Swift.
Learn how to talk.
Won't be
Sorry.
Tay-Tay.
Anyway,
I mean, from the stuff that they were saying, which again wasn't officially announced, like it is a kind of a cool idea if they do the mutants as maybe a Disney Plus series, and then they spin off the characters into their movies, so it's kind of like home base for the mutant franchise. That'd be kind of a fun way to do it.
True.
Where,
hey, maybe. What do you think? I mean, maybe we're asking the wrong two guys at the bottom of the screen here. Alika, is the X-Men name tarnished in the cinematic universe?
yeah.
How many times are you going to ask that?
I'm asking the wrong two. I'm asking.
How many times are you?
He wants hate and vitriol. He wants
exactly.
He wants bile. He wants toxic fandom.
Jesus.
That's it.
So,
but if that were true, they wouldn't bother with Spider-Man after Spider-Man 3 and those two amazing Spider-Man movies. Those tarnished that franchise a lot too.
X-Men has.
I think what happened though, because it took so long. I mean, from the year 2000 to when was the last Fox X-Men movie? Like 2018. For 18 straight years, like there's an entire generation or two that grew up with that as their X-Men, their first and only exposure. You know what I mean? And
that's what I'm talking about.
But the generation prior to that, my generation, our generation, was, hooked on one of the best, animated shows based on a comic book, the X-Men animated series. And it was during the time period that Jim Lee was still doing the X-Men, which is like an incredible, crazy, iconic run of X-Men that, kind of, you didn't think X-Men could be elevated above what Byrne and Claremont and Austin and all them had done in the 70s. But Silvestri brought it to another level in the 80s. And Jim Lee just blew it wide open in the 90s. So our era, like, there's an intense, like, top of the charts amazingness to X-Men that people who are younger than us that might not understand. Like, that the feeling you get when you see a blue and yellow costume it's different after you've been a child during the X-Men the Animated Series era. Like, and that's why I am particularly, I've never not been stuck on the costumes. It's part of what made the Disney MCU so good is the costumes. And that's our only hope for 2 decades. We've been like begging and hoping and pleading for this. and that's all I really care about is the stinking costumes.
Well,
I don't know if I agree that Marvel getting the costumes right is what made it work for the MCU. I thought it's because they handled the characters well.
Hell yeah,
costumes are the costumes are the last thing I think about in those movies.
That universe started with Iron Man, and they nailed Iron Man 1,000,000,000,000,000%. That is
okay, but for Iron Man they have to, because Iron Man is the character.
He is the suit. Oh, gee, that's what I've been saying.
No, but Thor. Okay, but everybody else.
Oh, what about Spider-Man? Oh, yeah, gee, let's just put him in a burlap sack. No, he is the suit. You know what I mean?
Okay, but
you guys are like glossing by the point. You're like, oh, but that's different. No, it's the same thing for all of them.
But no, I still disagree, because every single one of those other characters, Iron Man included, they changed their suits at will. And as a matter of fact, there's quite a few of those suits people didn't even like.
You're trying to skirt around the point by saying they wear different costumes. That you're not proving your point at all.
That's not skirting anything. The point I'm making is that people care about the characters. In a lot of cases, the suits
care about the costumes.
But anybody? Okay, wait. Can anybody tell me exact details of Thor's costume from movie to movie? Probably not.
Yeah, the first Thor movie, he had the big, ridiculous 4 circles on his chest, just like the comic, and nobody blinked. Nobody was like, "Why are there 4 circles on his chest?" No, they were like, "That's Thor. I love it."
But nobody really loved Thor until Thor Ragnarok.
That's not true. I really like Thor from the very beginning.
I love
to
Thor
be fair.
Okay, go find a casual Marvel fan
when he fought the Destroyer, a comics accurate Destroyer.
Yeah, that
was like Nerd Boner Central.
Great for a comic book fan. But then that's all you have.
I'm a comic book fan. Hey, Gannon, I'm a comic book fan.
So am I. But I'm also a fan of character and story, and that's what to me that's what they get right. But
stop acting like every Marvel movie isn't the same one with a different skin on it. Come on.
Oh my God!
That's actually the same point.
Relax, Todd Bernardi. Goodness.
Nobody really cared about the Thor character in the MCU until Avengers, really.
Well,
until he bounced off of other characters, nobody really cared about Thor. And as a matter of fact, they changed the core of Thor so much in the movies. He's not like he is in the comics at all.
Hey, Gannon. Loki's a great character. Did he have gigantic horns coming out of his head?
Did he have them on the whole time in Avengers? No.
Did he have them? Was it part of his costume?
In the beginning, but they never had him with it at
all.
It
totally was. Wasn't that cool? Wasn't that great to see Loki?
That's the last thing I thought about.
Wouldn't it be stupid if we didn't get that? Yeah, I think so.
But that's the last thing I think about. It's his character I cared about.
Joel in the chat said he liked Thor from Adventures in Babysitting, which I do as well.
Me too. Yeah, that was a great Thor.
That was great Thor.
Has he had a cameo in any of the Disney?
I would hope he does soon, because it would be awesome.
That'd be great.
Now Gannon, you know what's interesting is that if this were maybe like 7 years ago or 8 years ago, I think I might have agreed with you. But I think Alika's onto something. I do think the comic book accurate costumes do make for a better experience, maybe, as far as watching it. I mean, I'm not.
You know what? Because people used to do this weird mental gymnastics when I would tell them I didn't like the Fox X-Men movies. They're like, "Oh, you expect me to buy them in blue and yellow costumes?" Meanwhile, you got a dude with metal claws coming out of his hand and a dude shooting laser beams out of his eyeballs, and people are like, I just can't accept the costumes. It's just too weird. It would be." Well, I can't watch. I can't go to the theater and see something like that.
I will defend the X-Men movies. I can watch those movies without the costumes. I'm not gonna lie. I do like those X-Men movies without the costumes.
I'm gonna judge you for that.
I think Gannon.
My only point of view is that if the character begins and ends at the costume, then it's completely superficial. There's nothing deeper than that.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
That's not enough for me.
That no, Gannon. That's a good point. Gannon does make sense.
I want the character to shine, not the costume. The costume is
character shine.
It's not everything.
The costume being accurate does not stop the character from shining. I don't know where you're getting the straight off. But the costume is the character. When Jack Kirby and Stan Lee and Steve Ditko are sitting down to draw up the dude, they don't like, hey, put him in a t-shirt and some glasses. We'll get the costume in like issue 5. Don't worry about it. No, the costume is the character.
But don't we
Now-
love Spider-Man? But don't we love Spider-Man Homecoming after Tony Stark takes away the really cool, aesthetically pleasing Spider-Man suit, and he has to wear
That's
his
just having a
jammy-
different suit. We love the suits. We love all.
But do we love that suit? No, we don't.
Yeah, we love them all.
We don't love him in his pajamas. Come on.
All right, now let me ask you this: if Gannon is, I believe, if Alika, if you're right,
I'm not
think
saying
that
Alika's wrong. I'm just trying to make a case that I don't think that what people care about is primarily the costumes.
but what
I
I'm
think
saying
people
is
care
that if
about
you were
the
right,
costumes more than anybody wants to admit, and more than marketing was willing to accept.
wouldn't that mean that
that's
the
why
Fantastic
Disney-
We're
Four
not talking about
movies?
marketing. We're talking
And
about
nobody wants to admit that's why
story.
Disney did so well. But that is why Disney did so well.
Wouldn't the Chris Evans Fantastic Four movies would have done better because they did get the
They
costumes
did,
right?
I think they did so well because they had the costumes. I think without the costumes getting right, they would have been fanforstic basically. The what's the guy's name? Corman,
Roger Corman.
Roger Corman.
Yeah.
His Fantastic Four apparently was total garbage. But as a kid, I saw the preview and they looked like from the comics, and I would have paid the money at the theater to see that. Like that movie would have moved some numbers because this is the era of if that had hit the theaters, it would have still made some money, I believe. That's the thing. And same with the Jessica Alba Fantastic Four movies. Those did.
That's the one I'm talking about. Those are the ones I'm talking about.
Those did as good as they did because they had the Silver Surfer and they had the blue costumes.
Doesn't everybody make fun of those movies now, though?
Yeah, they're not very good
terrible.
movies though.
They're terrible movies. They didn't get the character right or anything, but they did get the costumes right, and that was to their service. It wasn't. They didn't get the costumes right, and it made the movie suck. You know what I mean?
That's also a good point.
You guys are.
Dang.
Yeah, my point stands. You know.
I'm not disagreeing or agreeing with you.
Well, but
I'm just gonna-
Captain America never got his scaly suit. We never saw that.
Yeah, but he was wearing an A in the first one.
And we hated his suit in Avengers, and nobody seemed to be that stoked about his first suit in the other movie too. The first one.
Kenneth in the chat says
is Chris Evans.
costumes are very important. Just ask Superman.
Yeah.
Superman's one word.
But to be fair, which is Superman's costume? The Superman outfit or his Clark Kent suit?
Wow,
Clark
Kent.
that is very deep, G.
How profound and deep is that right there?
Clark Kent's
Boom.
the real guy. Everybody
All right,
knows that.
yeah, that's all right, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's it for the show. It doesn't get any deeper than that. No.
Jesus. This guy.
I'm just kidding. I think you both have valid points because I think Gannon is right that character means something to the story, but I also think Alika's right in the fact that I think costumes, when they're accurate like Marvel has done, does something for the character too. I think you guys are both. I think you both have valid points, and I think that should be recognized. That both of you are very smart comic book men. So I think you're right. Anyway,
I think you're stupid.
Thanks. Last time I defend you.
I agree with Gannon.
You see, me and Alika can agree on stuff when we have a common enemy.
All right, and with that being said, that's about it for next time.
Okay, Greg, you can't do the same joke twice back to back like
listen,
that.
I just did. All right. Well, listen. Speaking of Marvel, it's time to get into the big review. Of course, the WandaVision finale was on this past Friday. And of course, the crew that you see before you has seen the WandaVision finale. So, Phormat, you of course have been very opinionated about this. Can I get your take on the finale? Shut up. Get your take on WandaVision.
WandaVision?
The finale of WandaVision.
Did that come out?
Yeah,
the finale?
By the way, Ron Cataguy wants me to pick a winner between Gannon and Alika. By the way, if I had to pick a winner,
it's clearly Phormat since he shut the hell up and minded his own business.
That's true. It's clearly Phormat.
Neutral territory. When there's a war and there's neutral territory with no war being taken, more
for sure.
survivors there.
For sure. All right.
Yeah, when the
Phormat.
other two panels start going off on each other, I turn into New Zealand.
Well,
just
Phormat,
shut the borders.
before you get started, Carl Romano says that he was a little disappointed with the finale. Phormat, were you disappointed with the finale?
No, to me, everything was wrapped up nice and neat. a lot more than I was expecting, to be honest. Like, I was really expecting them to leave a lot of like breadcrumbs out to lead into like other Marvel properties, but for me, everything was wrapped up nicely. There's a few things that kind of hint to things that may come, but as far as what they started out with and focusing on Wanda and Vision, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I know that's not the case for everyone, though.
Just at most things, at the most inopportune time, COVID-19 says, yes, another movie, time to get to work. Not sure what that means, but he has disrupted the show. COVID-19 had some words for the...
COVID-19 disrupts everything. You ever notice that?
Yeah, I know. It just does. It just does. Now since COVID-19 has
Thanks, COVID-19.
been on the show, yeah, we appreciate it, COVID-19. Now we're going to have to quarantine for 7 to 10 days. Thanks a lot, guy. Anyway, Carl says that he was disappointed in the finale, but he also said that Silver Surfer #3 just dropped in price. I don't know what that means.
Everyone was expecting Mephisto to show up. Silver Surfer #3 is the first appearance of Mephisto, and he didn't show up. So good for you guys. But
Speculation.
But West Coast Avengers #45, it like went from a dollar bin book to the book that everybody needs to have right now, right freaking now.
Wow. Kenneth in the chat says it was a great show. Could have done without Sword. Alika, I will secede to you. What did you think of the show this week or this past week?
I enjoyed it. I mean, I like the inclusion of Sword because that's one of those branches off to another universe that we can, I'm sure we'll get into it during Secret Invasion with all the Kree and Skrull stuff that's going on. And White Vision, obviously, I like that kind of stuff. They stopped fighting. They got into the Theseus's ship philosophical debate thing. And that was, that's the kind of stuff you want to see out of hero stuff is like heady, supposedly deep, whatever concepts between supposed heroes and villains or whatever.
Especially in a Vision fight, a Vision versus Vision fight. That's what you would kind of expect.
Yeah. You got to see their mechanics work. There was brute force involved, but then it went into logic. And then I thought that was a great fight. I thought that was excellent. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what's to come for Vision because it kind of plays more into the comic canon. Actually, he went on several years, maybe going on a decade where he was just the White Vision. And he was kind of like putting himself back together.
So you think he's still around?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Carl in the chat says when the two Visions were talking, he thought they were saying feces.
They were.
Okay.
The ship of feces. Yes, it's a thing that only robots talk to each other about. The thing that shocked me was the post-credit scene when Damon Hellstrom just shows up because that show on Hulu was garbage.
That's right. You watched it. You didn't like it. You thought it was terrible.
I hate watched it. Yeah. It was almost as bad as October Faction.
That's what I was waiting for. That's what I was waiting for.
I forgot that was even a thing.
Yeah, me too.
It got canceled after one season, so good thing.
Now, Gannon, for those that don't know.
You sure you want to talk to me after those two reviews?
Well, here's the thing: is that
Gannon? You want to do that right now?
Gannon, we in the NERDWatch share a private
counter.
We share a private chat where we go over the things we're going to talk about.
But Alika already started a fight with me, and this is just bound to go that way again.
Well,
and I think that's what Greg wants.
You were incredibly critical of the series, of the season finale of WandaVision. By the way, I do believe that we are not going to get any more WandaVision. Am I right about that?
Yeah, WandaVision's done.
Yeah, right. Okay, good. That's what I thought.
I don't think these Marvel series are pitched in any kind of way where they're going to continue. They're just going to be one-off, more like miniseries than anything else. They're just going to use Disney Plus to showcase the smaller characters.
So Gannon, to be fair to you, it wasn't the fact that you didn't like it, but you did see some inconsistencies and things that you didn't like in the finale.
Not
What were those things?
inconsistencies, just there was a certain degree of it where I was feeling like there was wasted time. But then also the thing, and I hated that I got stuck in my skin for so long. But the Quicksilver thing really drove me nuts. It really irritated me, and I hate that it irritated me this much. But then,
what bothered you so much about it?
But then, hold on. After a few days of thinking about it, I realized that it's the Marvel brand. You set up the intrigue of something very interesting, and then you completely pull the rug out from your fans and say, nope, just kidding. This is absolutely stupid. They did it with Mandarin.
Yeah.
They did it with Mandarin.
Fair.
They did it with Nick Fury's eye.
Yeah,
and now they did it with Quicksilver. They set up something that's got just the smallest modicum of interest to it.
No. Hey, Gannon, I'm going to correct you. His name's not Quicksilver. It's Ralph Boner.
Which is exactly the point I'm getting to. Exactly the point I'm getting to. That's the thing that got me about it. Marvel must have clearly been thinking to troll the fans in such an epic way that they even literally made a boner joke out of the character. Wow. These are grown people that are in the writer's room, so they had to have known what they were doing.
Well done.
They have to have known. They have to have known that putting that character in there with that actor was going to start all these people thinking about the possibilities of this in a series that is about reality-altering powers. They knew the fans were going to hang on this. They knew putting them in there was going to drive people crazy thinking about it. And then at the very end, it literally meant nothing. Absolutely nothing. And on top of it, they made it a dick joke.
Bravissimo.
So,
yeah, to be fair, that was a good thing.
I thought it was a growing pains joke.
Even so. But to me, while I say that, I also felt that was a pretty big disrespect to the fans. Like Marvel openly kind of disrespected the fans. They knew very well that the fans were going to get carried away with that, and they knew it, and they decided to just.
You think Disney disrespected the fans by showing them a boner?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think they were disrespecting? Do you think they were disrespecting the X-Men, not the fans?
Well, that's the other thing. They could have just been making a joke at the Fox X-Men franchise's expense by using Evan Peters. But I don't know. The more I think about the show, the more the thing that I dug out of it, the thing that I really liked, and the thing that the show really should have been about was about mental. I mean, I talked to Kristen Bosey about this. The show's really about mental illness and grief. That's what the show's really about.
Sure.
Her coping mechanism for getting into these depressions is these shows that she was raised on as a family. This is why that's her touchstone. That's the whole point of everything. And there's collateral damage, literal collateral damage for what she's going through herself. And she doesn't mean to do these things to all these people. At least in the beginning, she didn't think there was any harm in it. But the show kind of throws it out because you don't really actually feel the devastation of what she's done to these people, even though she did it inadvertently. Because at one point, they're almost like these weird zombies pleading with her to help them. And then 5 minutes later, after she's walking through the town, they're looking at her like, you disgusting villain. Like, it was so like a complete tonal shift within the space of 5 minutes. So I don't know.
You don't think that was valid though? If someone had you under their like mind control for like weeks and finally you got freed and that same person just walked past you, you wouldn't have any animosity towards that person?
No, I'm not saying the animosity shouldn't have been there. I'm saying it was such a crazy, huge shift from one to the other so fast. One way or the other, that animosity, that hostility would have been there. I completely agree with that. Okay. But I don't know. I just kind of feel like the way it was handled was just a little too quick. I agree that they wrapped everything up, but I also feel like because this last episode had to wrap up so many things, they burned through a lot of stuff really fast. Like, you almost don't even realize Darcy was in the episode. Her scene happened so quickly.
Yeah, it did.
You know, Hayward as a villain is throughout the entire thing, but like how he gets stopped is like almost like a throwaway detail.
I'm wondering about that too. Like, why is he arrested?
Yeah, because essentially
he's doing his job.
What was asked of him? Exactly what was he arrested for? but it's just
I
thrown
didn't
away.
understand that part. But
It was,
I get it.
Shooting imaginary children.
Shooting imaginary children. Yes, thanks, Kai.
It was.
Oh, by the way,
it was
Kai's
like
in chat.
Scooby-Doo villain thing. He just arrested him for being a dick.
Well, that's kind of my
Being a
point,
boner.
though. Like, it's just so thrown away. Like he's so important the entire show, and then he's just a thrown away detail at the very end. Like they needed to do something with him. So they're like, all right, so Darcy hits his card, he's arrested now. Whereas it would have been more interesting, like his character moves on, it could be a potential threat later on. I mean, I guess he still could, but if he's arrested, now he's no longer with Sword, you would think.
AIM?
Do you feel that those were just red herrings to put into the script so that people would get
Then it
off
shouldn't be there at all. Then it shouldn't be there at all. In it's such a short series. If you're going to have all of these interlocking details, they should mean something. If you're just going to throw them away at the end, you shouldn't have them there at all. Like Monica Rambeau's character, as interesting as she is, and as essential as she is in like the beginning and middle of the story, you almost kind of forget she's in the episode. They literally have to come up with an excuse as to why she's not involved in the action, which is why she's in the house with Mr. Boner, because they didn't know what else to do with her. She can't be involved in the fight because the fight would be lopsided now. So it's like you can tell, like by the time they got to the ending of the show, they're like, "Oh crap, we don't know what to do with Monica. Okay, we'll throw her in the house with the other guy." You know what I mean? Like she doesn't have much to do with the story, and she forgives Wanda.
Good point. It's a good point.
She actually forgives Wanda for what Wanda has done. She's like, they'll never understand what you sacrificed, but she literally sacrificed 3 imaginary people while terrorizing the entire town.
Yeah,
they were real to her.
Yes, they were real to her, but they weren't real people. But she terrorized real people that are going to keep on living after that moment.
Good point.
We're supposed to forgive her for it. And, narratively we should. We're meant to feel that way. But when Monica's forgiving her for it, you're like, Monica, do you even understand what she's actually done? Yeah. She didn't mean, and granted, yes, again, she didn't mean to do it, or at least she didn't mean for it to get to the point that it did. Because she wasn't thinking clearly, but that's where that's what the story should have been about. Like
Monica's cool with it because she has powers now.
Oh, that makes sense. She's like, you know what? From trying to stop you, I got power.
It's a good point. Well,
but I do love the Vision on Vision fight. It's exactly as that fight should have gone.
Mm-hmm.
Any fight with Vision, if he's fighting himself, should end exactly like that. However, it does stand to reason that Vision is only smart in stuff that's not the Infinity War and Endgame movies. Well, he was in Endgame because he gets stabbed from the back. He couldn't think to phase through before he got stabbed, but then also he didn't think to phase when Thanos tries to rip the thing out of his head.
I like when they were going over the memories, the Vision memories, and he's like, "Remember that time you crippled War Machine?"
That was the other thing I wasn't clear on, because neither one of them should have remembered any of those moments, and yet somehow he was. I wasn't clear on if
memory banks.
Okay, wait.
The memory cards.
Shut up before you answer what I'm trying to say. The WandaVision vision. It's not clear if the WandaVision vision is implanting the memories into White Vision or he's helping reactivate them. I wasn't clear on that.
That's how I took it. I took it that the memories were already there. He just couldn't access them. So if Wanda's vision turned them on.
Yeah, because if that's the case, then that's cool, because she does have that moment where she finds his body and she says she can't feel him anymore.
Right.
So maybe the memories were there, but she just couldn't feel it, and it took her memory of Vision to be rebuilt to be the thing. Okay, so that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah. I was gonna say that to me was implied. I thought
it wasn't.
That's how I took it. Yeah. Well, what do you think happened to White Vision? I'm curious. I want to know what everybody's thoughts are. Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna fly away and figure stuff out, and then he'll show up exactly when the next Avengers movie shows up.
So he's like Supermaning above the earth.
I wouldn't be surprised if they reveal Vision like in a whole other galaxy. Like we don't even see him until he's because who says he has to stay with Earth? He could go anywhere.
True.
Try and figure himself out.
Carl in the chat says Vision got stabbed from behind, so he never saw it coming.
Which is fine, but Thanos rips the stone out of his head right in front of him. Then White Vision tries to rip the stone out of his head right in front of him, but he remembers, hey, wait a minute, I can phase. He couldn't remember that when Thanos did it, when there was end of the world stakes involved. So Vision
How dare you? Thanos is an Eternal. He was in the grasp of an Eternal.
What do you think? What's that? In regards to White Vision, what do you think happened? I want to know.
Well, I think so. I think White Vision is superior to all other visions. I mean, is
Whoa,
that a
Jesus,
whoa,
why did
that's
I
not
even
okay.
ask you?
That's not okay. That's not okay.
Jesus.
uh,
Okay, so the reason why I'm asking is because
Yes.
everyone seems to think that White Vision is still around in some way, like he's flying around collecting his thoughts, or trying to become himself again.
Figure out who he is in the world.
But the way I took it, because I had to view that last episode with the lens of like what you see is what you get. The last thing he says is, "My programming is to destroy the Vision." And then after his memory banks are awoken, he's like, "I'm the Vision," and he flies off. I think he flies himself into the sun.
Oh, interesting. Ron Cataguy says in the chat was waiting for G to say something like that, which I'm glad I could oblige.
I'll be honest, though. It is a little messed up that what's the superior vision that continues is the White Vision. So
Thank you. Thank you.
So-
That's what I was saying.
Continue because he was superior. You
Mhm.
asshole.
but he was built. He was built to be the thing that killed the other Vision by Sword. But then here's the other thing: how was Sword able to track him? Because that wasn't an actual Vision; that was just a memory rebuilt. How were they able to track him?
Right?
The
'Cause they still were
vibranium,
talking-
the decay signal of vibranium.
And it would have been cool
He's
if
not
they,
made out of vibranium, though.
He is. In that
How?
hex, he's made of vibranium.
But how?
Because it's warping reality.
So Scarlet Witch can literally create vibranium out of nowhere.
Have you? Hey,
Dude, that's
listen,
awesome.
You know what? Do yourself a favor and watch the other Marvel Universe cartoon, Full Metal Alchemist, and you'll understand. You'll understand
Okay,
the theory of.
Calm down.
Well, what's the theory there?
You're talking about equivalent exchange,
Equivalent exchange. Then you'll understand. Okay.
but that doesn't apply to this. She has to
But
get something.
why
of
would I
equal
watch a
return,
whole other
equal
show to
value.
figure out a different show?
Technically, she did give up. Like, she gave up her family to free the people. Equivalent exchange.
Daniel in the chat brings us something interesting: chaos magic.
Thank
That's
you.
what it is. That's what,
Unlogical chaos magic.
and
What-
that would
what
make
were
her
we-
the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah,
So,
so,
if that's the case, why can't they live without the bubble? If she can recreate them on chaos magic, why did they die with the bubble then?
Carr brings up another good point. Wanted to change up Monica's clothes.
You don't ask too much questions because then it starts putting holes in the plot.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what the point of that. Huh?
Well, like it's what they're saying is that with chaos magic, anything is possible, right? We all know that she
But
uses.
only if there's a bubble. Then it's not. It's not that,
He's poking the holes in the plot.
if it only works inside the bubble, then there's no bubble. Then that means it doesn't work. So it's not that special, is it?
But if we,
Yeah,
well,
no,
but
this
if we understand, I mean, that chaos magic wasn't that the same chaos magic that got them in trouble in Captain America: Civil War at the very beginning when she
Was there
screwed
chaos
up?
magic involved in that movie?
Yes,
She blew up a building with energy powers. I don't know if that's the same thing.
but she did it by mistake. It wasn't what she wanted to do. Remember?
That doesn't answer my question, though.
Oh, okay.
If she can create vibranium that exists, but the bubble goes away and that doesn't exist, then aren't they just manifested? They're just a
Crossbones
manifested
only
abstract.
exploded because she didn't make a bubble around the hotel.
She made a bubble around Captain America. Does that mean he was
Right.
in an 80s sitcom at that time?
You know what? That's a
That
good,
means during
that is a
that
good
time
point.
when he was in the bubble, he was wearing vibranium. And then she
Now,
let him go.
can,
And then there's
can-
that whole thing. There's that whole thing too, where when she finally beats Agatha Harkness, there's all the runes around them. But I'm like, she literally just found out what runes were 5 minutes ago. She now knows what the runes mean.
Danny in the chat says, yeah, I think because she fully didn't understand how to use her power, which
So
I
if
think
that's
is a
the
fair.
case-
It's fair.
If that's the case, then none of those people are dead. She could just literally just manifest and they're alive now.
Yeah.
So then why does she do that? She doesn't have to miss them at the end if she can do that.
It's interesting.
They don't have to die because the bubble goes away. If she could do that and they can live without a bubble, then why not do that? Why does she have to go through the whole thing and watching them die again?
I think that's what the end credit is for. She's learning to bring them back without the bubble.
I'm just making a point that Vision is not actually made out of vibranium. While he's in a bubble, he's not.
I think that could have been went a long way as far as Hayward's like the director's character, if they would have just did a scene where they were like, for some reason we're getting traces, like we're tracking a Vision in the bubble, so we're gonna send our Vision in to find out what's up. I think that could have gone a long way for the character.
Carl in the chat brings up another interesting
kind of
point.
Cartoony at the end.
He says that's why Agnes kept telling Wanda she doesn't know her limits.
Okay, but what does that mean in the argument?
That means that she doesn't know, and just like Daniel said, she doesn't know the power that she actually wields.
And I get all that. I'm just saying, I'm still saying here that Vision is not actually vibranium in the scope of this show. She could probably
Daniel says
to be vibranium now.
I think that's why she heard her kids' voices at the end. She was trying to figure out how to bring them without the hex. Well, which would be interesting, which actually makes sense.
She doesn't have to bring them from anywhere if she can create them.
Damn,
right?
I'm really hating the fact that you're doing this because that actually makes sense, Gannon.
All I'm pointing out is
that I thought that's why she's in the dark hole.
She shouldn't be held back by any kind of rules.
No, she doesn't.
So that means she could literally make with her magic. She could literally make a material.
She's a walking, talking Infinity Gauntlet.
Yes.
I mean, if that's the case,
Infinity Gauntlet.
that was going to be my point. She is literally she could almost be like an Infinity Gauntlet.
No,
isn't she kind of essentially that?
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like that's essentially what we're saying, right? I mean, that's what it is. If we're going to say it,
kind of. Well, but then again, but the show's telling us that the Infinity Stone just really activated what she already had.
Right.
Aren't they?
Ken in the chat said she learned it was wrong. So, I mean, does that mean that she has to limit what she? I mean, just like
I think that's where Agnes comes into play. Like Agnes told her that what she was like. I don't think she understood that there were like prices that she had to pay to do what she was doing. And then Agnes was like, you did it wrong. And that's why it's going to fail.
Carl in the chat says if Wanda could transform Monica's clothes from Kevlar to 70s clothing, then she could create Vision vibranium and all. So,
but that's, again, only in the bubble. Because Monica's clothes changed to 70s clothes in the bubble.
Daniel's
Vision
right.
Vibranium in the bubble.
Agatha said that Daniel says Agatha said that chaos magic gives the power to create.
You guys are just proving Gannon's point. I don't know why you guys keep adding on to it.
The bottom line is still the same. All of those things only happen in the bubble. Once the bubble goes away, all those
going
things
off
go
of
away.
what Gannon's saying is that Wanda is able to create within the bubble because the rules aren't right, and that's what Agnes was trying to point out.
Okay.
While your stuff happens in the bubble, there are certain rules that you are bypassing. Okay. So once the bubble goes away, she needs the dark hole to learn how to do it correctly.
I mean, I kind of almost wish that the Agatha versus her storyline was less adversarial and more of like Agatha coming. I mean, it kind of was where Agatha is just like, what you have the potential of is too dangerous for someone who's this unhinged.
Right.
Kind of what the case is, but then she just turns into a villain like, I want your power at the end.
Right.
Away all of her power. It kind of would have been nice if they stuck to that, where she wasn't necessarily adversarial. It was just like I mean, almost in the
like you have no idea what you're capable of. I'm gonna show you.
She's like
pushing you to your limits.
Yeah, you're too dangerous.
So in the bubble, she's unchained, is what you're saying. So she has to learn to chain herself, is what you're saying.
I mean, to be honest, Wanda, I mean, to me, and maybe it's just me seeing it this way, Wanda kind of still comes out of that show looking like a villain to me.
She doesn't really,
she doesn't come out of it looking like she's even a misunderstood hero. She doesn't really seem like, I mean, she's dealt with her grief. She knows what she did. And I don't really feel like it doesn't necessarily feel like she has any remorse for what she's done necessarily. It almost feels more like regret because of what she had to sacrifice.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I get a little bit of that and a little bit of like, oh man, I really screwed it up for these people here, so I'm gonna dig out.
And and the reality of it is there's no degree of sorry she could say to fix it for those people.
Right, exactly.
Right.
It's almost easier to just dig out.
just bail. And you know, if they're really gonna get ahead of it and say later on down the road that she's a mutant, that would kind of be a good starting point to establish why people don't trust mutants, because this is what happened when a mutant went unchecked. So that would be a good setup for X-Men, and it'd just be kind of weird that it was her that was the setup for it.
I think Daniel in the chat is bringing up another fantastic point, which is actually clarifying Gannon's point. In the show, Agatha says you have no idea how dangerous you are. You're supposed to be a myth, a being capable of spontaneous creation, and here you are using it to make breakfast for dinner.
Yes, that's exactly what we were saying.
No, but
she doesn't know how to use it right.
She doesn't know how to use it right.
Daniel, I love you, but
Daniel's absolutely right. He's clarifying your point, which I think he did correctly.
I'm so glad he can use Google.
Stay banging.
Gannon asked how Sword was able to track Vision by his vibranium. So that's what I was trying to say. I probably misunderstood the question.
Well, the thing I was saying is, like, I don't even necessarily think they were tracking him as vibranium. They could have just been tracking him as an anomalous energy signature, because they kind of gave you the impression that the Vision that's in there is built out of her memory, and she even says whatever remnants of the Infinity Storm were stuck with her, because she was there at the moment that it got blown to hell. So there's probably the piece of it that's his soul was with her.
Right. Absolutely. Now,
before we move on, and since Daniel's still there, I just want to say, hoba swordfish.
I'm not sure what that means, but if I don't like the original title of this program, I'm going to use that.
Bob Marley, Legend, No Woman, No Cry, second verse.
All right, sweet. Well, I think overall, even with criticisms and issues with story, I think overall WandaVision was completely successful. Daniel gave you 3 laughing emojis. Crying laughing emojis.
I don't see anything over here.
Squares. I see squares.
Yeah, I don't see.
Do you not have emojis loaded, G?
Do you not? I do have emojis loaded, and they look fantastic on my screen. Anyway,
was anybody disappointed that Benedict Cumberbatch didn't show up, and that Michael Fassbender didn't show up, and that Ian McKellen didn't show up, and then John Krasinski as Reed Richards didn't show up?
I wasn't, but I was disappointed that we didn't get because I kind of wanted Baron Mordo to come in as the magic person to come in and help correct things. But I'm glad it worked out the way it did.
I wasn't disappointed those guys didn't show up, but the whole time I'm thinking to myself, if something on this scale happened, it would attract other sorcerers in some degree or another. And I mean, I know you don't want to make this one story about all these other things, but I mean, you don't have to have Doctor Strange necessarily, but it would have been nice that maybe you see another sorcerer try to attempt to get into the hex and he can't get past it for some reason.
Right.
They call him an expert, which would be a little cheesy maybe, but just to keep the idea that it wouldn't go unnoticed in the world of these sorcerers.
What I think is hilarious is the fact that Paul Bettany did an interview with someone, and during the interview he went on to say that there was a guest star who was going to be in an upcoming episode, like the final episode, and that that there were fireworks between them, and it's someone he always wanted to work with, and he's so happy that they got to work together. And everybody and people started theorizing, it must be Benedict Cumberbatch. It might be Tom Hiddleston.
Somebody said Ian McKellen too, because they were saying
just going down the line of stuff, and to come to find out he was just talking about himself.
I thought it was Van Dyke.
Yeah, that could.
How would he show up at the end?
Hey, he's here. He's been here, guy.
Why would Van Dyke show up at the end of that show?
He was there for help with the first 2 episodes.
What?
He was doing consulting for the way they did their episodes.
The scope of the show show up at the end of that show. It makes no sense.
Guy's just a fan. He just wanted it to happen.
Now, if he showed up as a sorcerer, he showed up as a magic user,
or maybe he was the sorcerer supreme in the 40s.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I wanted all the Fox X-Men to show up, but I wanted them all in their original costumes.
You know what they should have done?
Flight suits?
You know what they should have done, Greg? Just when Agatha is telling her what's what and Wanda thinks she's lost, all you hear is just on your left. And then you see all these circles. And then Hugh Jackman pops out.
Yes.
And
Oh,
James
man.
Marsden pops out. And Halle Berry pops out. But to make Alika happy, they're all wearing comics accurate costumes.
That's what I was talking about.
But then it turns out that Wanda just manifested them and none of them were real.
And Alika would have no problem with that whatsoever.
Would that have been good enough for you? That was their one and only nod to having the old school X-Men in the suit?
They could literally start from
We
scratch
could
in
be
that
done with
respect.
that.
To be like
Yeah.
a 1-minute scene and they're only in the suits and none of them were actually real.
There you go. Perfect.
That would mean we would have to lose Patrick Stewart as Xavier.
Why?
Which would well,
He can roll
Seems
in
good.
on his wheelchair, but he doesn't have the wheels. He has the hover chair like the cartoons.
oh wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Ah,
I just
got
wrote
it,
a
I
better
got
ending for that show. They should have
But
talked.
the hover chair is held up by strings because Dick Van Dyke consulted on the show.
Well, according to you guys, WandaVision was successful, and I
No.
think the numbers prove that WandaVision was a very successful show for Disney Plus. And WandaVision, of course, will not be back. These are one-off shows, and rightly so. WandaVision, I don't think needs a second series. This was fantastic.
There were rumors floating around that there was a super secret episode, like an episode 10, but it has. I don't know if it's been confirmed yet, but that episode 10 may be just a making of.
It is. That's what they're saying. It is the making of.
Oh, okay, cool.
There's gonna be a new Marvel Assemble.
Did I
Oh,
talk
nice.
about my pitch for WandaVision season 2 on the show? I don't remember.
No, you didn't. But go ahead before we move on.
I
You
feel
said
like I
something
did.
about X-Men in comics accurate costumes, but they
No,
don't exist.
No, you could do WandaVision season 2, okay, where she goes to like Harlem or something, and she creates another hex, and every TV show is like a black sitcom from like the 70s.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
remember.
yeah, you did talk about this. Yeah.
That would
did
and
talk
then,
about
be good.
and then you call that one WakandaVision.
I'm gonna consult with Alika. He's our sensitivity specialist. How close are we, Alika?
I'm into WakandaVision. I actually like
Okay.
that.
All right, good. We're okay then. All
I
right. I
think
just want to
that
make
she
sure.
shouldn't go to Harlem. She should just actually go to Wakanda.
Yeah.
that way
Alika's our he's our sensitivity you know.
And then you can do hologram Chadwick Boseman.
Oh man,
No,
Carl wants to know.
You were Gannon. It's like you go right around the thin ice. You look at the thin ice, and then you just jump right in. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
We can get hologram Tupac, but we can't do hologram Chadwick Boseman.
You
What's
can't
up?
do hologram Tupac.
Yeah, you
Hologram
can't do
Tupac is
you
not-
can't do hologram Chadwick Boseman, dude. You can't. Yeah,
But we
that's
could do
not-
Peter. But we could do Peter Cushing CGI. Why is there a line for Chadwick
Because
Boseman?
Peter Cushing actually was he. They
We
cushion
didn't mind
over
with
him.
Peter Cushing in Rogue One. For some reason.
pushing over him.
Yeah, that's
Peter
what I'm
Cushing
trying to
has
say.
no idea he's in Rogue One right now. Do you know that?
I do know.
Like, he died in the 90s. He has no idea that somebody
How
put him
dare
in a
you?
movie.
How dare
Someone
you.
better go tell him.
Acting choices.
Carl wants to know who
I'm
made
not fighting for
Pietro.
Chadwick Boseman. I'm just wondering where the line is.
Pietro who made Carl wants to know who made Pietro's Quicksilver accurate costume. Was it accurate? Was it comics accurate? I didn't know that.
For Halloween.
Oh, for Halloween. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. All right, well, listen, gents.
I do hope we see those kids again, though.
We are a few short days away from the premiere of Falcon and the Snowman.
Is it a
Okay.
few days?
It's just a few days away.
I thought it was the same week as Snyder Cut.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yeah, a few
more
days. Yeah, we're talking like like 8 days. So
That's when Snyder Cut comes out. Stupid.
right, but also Falcon and the Snowman. Ron Cataguy says excellent premise, Gannon. He's down for WakandaVision. What I'm saying though is that we do have Falcon and the Winter Soldier on the way very shortly, and you are right about DC. and HBO Max getting Justice League. But did you also know that Justice League? Did you also know that HBO Max will be getting the color-corrected version of Batman v Superman on that same day?
Didn't I bring this up last week?
No, you brought up that there would be a 4K release. I didn't know it was coming to HBO Max until.
Yes, I did mention that.
I didn't know it was coming to HBO Max. That's crazy.
I said that it was going to be coming out on 4K. Right after.
Okay.
But apparently, if you watch Tom and Jerry at some point this week, you were treated to the first hour of the Snyder Cut.
That's what I read. That's what I heard.
The first hour.
Well, it lasted it lasted about an hour before they figured out what they did and fixed it, supposedly.
Kirsten, a fan of Gannon's. Shout out to Gannon.
She's only popping in because I brought up Snyder Cut, so I'm gonna get vivisected right now.
I was told you wouldn't talk about Snyder Cut.
Whenever Snyder Cut comes up, she just hops out of the bushes. Stab.
Out of the bushes. She roars right out of the bushes.
I'm about it right now. I'm just saying it's coming. That's all.
Kirsten comes out of the bush and she goes, do I hear a cis male enjoying Zack Snyder?
Yes, exactly right. She's like Andy McDowell in Groundhog Day. He comes out, sees a little shadow, and there's Kirsten, and she jumps on and pounces.
Get him, Kirsten. Don't let Gannon get away with enjoying snacks.
Yeah, God forbid.
Who said I enjoyed it? Didn't even come out yet. I might watch it to get stuck, just like everybody else says it does.
Gannon, shut up. You are pre-enjoying this movie.
No, I'm not.
I know you are.
I never have said that. Never once.
All right. Guilt me
People
into
just want to put me in that box.
Movie.
I get everybody wants to put me in that box, but no. I've never said that.
All right. Well, Kirsten, no matter how you feel about Zack Snyder, we do love you, and thanks for stopping by. Of course, Kirsten Bozio is one half of Masters of the Obvious, the podcast that you guys should listen to. Masters of the Obvious should be returning shortly for season 2, so make sure you check them out. Masters of the Obvious, they're on Instagram and on Facebook, and so if you want to hear,
you want to watch a way better show.
Or if you want to hear a show with a more female-centric perspective, definitely check it out. And it's a show that's
it's a good show. I'm a fan.
I'm gonna say it's okay.
Well, never mind. You just made it sound patronizing right there. And yet I'm the offensive one somehow.
So make sure you check them out. Masters of the Obvious.
You need that stuff.
Yeah. Carl Amano looks like he's a fan as well. That's why he's clapping.
Is that what that is?
Kirsten says, you mean a good perspective? All right. But anyway, now, Gannon, something that I want to talk about with you and the rest of you guys, there's some big news that came out. Zack Snyder is releasing. No, I'm just kidding.
Why are you doing that?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. And you can give us more information about it. According to the news, I don't know if this is correct or not because you would know more than I do, Gannon. According to what has been coming out in entertainment news, there is a new Evil Dead movie shooting very soon. Well, what's going on with that?
It's not new news necessarily. Just Bruce Campbell said they're going to start shooting it very soon in New Zealand. We don't really know much about it that they've actually said out loud, but all I've read about that's not confirmed stuff is that it might be set in a high-rise building this time around, which I don't know if that's where the entire gimmick falls apart, but
it's called Evil Dead Rise, apparently. That's the title.
Yeah, it's definitely not. Bruce Campbell's still not doing Ash in it anymore. But it's also apparently not a sequel to the other remake either. It's just another Evil Dead movie. So I don't know if it's set in the universe or a kind of sort of indirect sequel. I don't know.
Kirsten didn't like my Zack Snyder joke, but
I'm seeing smiley faces here. I think she does like your joke.
No, they're not smiley faces. I can tell you that right now.
Then why am I smiley faces?
Evil Dead beating the dead horse. Stop it.
You can shut your mouth, Carl Amano.
Stop it. I think it'll be good.
Movie yet?
No, that's true. There has not been. They've all been very
Evil
good.
Dead show's a little wonky, but the movies are good.
Movies are fantastic. I think the Evil Dead television series is a lot of fun for what it was.
If you get rid of the sidekicks, that show's better. I couldn't stand the sidekicks.
I agree. I agree with that. But yeah, so new Evil Dead shooting very soon. If you're a big fan of that as well.
And
if you're a
guess
big
what?
fan
They can
of
shoot in
Evil
New Zealand because you know what New Zealand is? COVID free.
Dead. New Zealand is COVID free.
So they
Guess
brought
who
the
else is
COVID to
COVID
New
free?
Zealand? Damn, that sucks.
Oh, I'm sure whatever production's happening over there, they're going to have everybody fully screened and make sure they're 100% healthy before they even touch the airplane.
I am pretty
But I
sure
do
of that
say
as
this,
well.
I want Jermaine Clement to be a Deadite in this movie.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
I just want to,
I'm assuming,
or either that, or he's the Ash of this movie. I don't know, something.
interesting. Also, some interesting news that popped up in the feed today that we saw. Kirsten says she's blowing poison snot rockets in my direction or our direction. So
It's so pure.
yeah.
It could be any of us.
Yeah. See, this is why the female perspective can be quite spicy and saucy at times.
That is.
You came this close to calling her a nasty woman. Do you know that?
Did I not? I did not. Did not say that. I did not say that. Anyway, I know I get her. I'm just trying to rile her up. Interesting news on the theater front. It looks like, and this could lead to possibly across the country, but it's been about a year since, of course, movie theaters all over the country were closed due to the pandemic. But it looks like Los Angeles may be bucking the trend. The way it is being paid for movie theaters to reopen in Los Angeles as early as next week.
You know who we should talk to about LA right now?
Oh yeah, Kirsten's in the house. LA counties.
You know
LA
the
counties.
person who lives there?
Yeah, I know. LA counties. Kirsten says my gender is terror. Thank you. That's also true. LA county's COVID-19 numbers have dropped, and if those numbers can be maintained for one more week, theaters will be able to open back up to a 25% capacity or 100 people, whichever is less. So it's interesting news on the California front, or on the LA front. So all I know is that here in Maui, they're looking at still a theater opening in May. So I'm not sure if opening for 25% or 100 people in a multiplex movie theater is worth even being open for. But I mean, it's some good news, I guess, if you want to be part of sitting in a movie theater for sure.
Is the Kihei Theater open right now?
Kihei Theater is not open, from what I understand.
It was,
but
it's not now.
Not anymore. Also, in Honolulu, theaters are open, and you can actually eat in the movie theaters right now. But of course, they're not 100% open, as in but they are open. So we'll see where this goes. Movie theaters may be moving in a positive direction. Don't know for how long. But if you have missed the movies,
it's not like a priority to me to be worried about during a pandemic.
The LA is looking at opening next week if the numbers stay as low as they are.
They're looking at opening Disneyland in April too. I think that's a huge mistake if the numbers don't go down significantly. Well,
Florida, of course, Disney World is wide open. Of course, Florida
doesn't care. Florida's like Xanadu for COVID right now. They're just like, whatever. Let's just, everybody take their clothes off and spread it on each other.
Carl, I wanted to know, can you still sneak in food? From my understanding, it looks like you can't even eat in the theater, let alone sneak in any food, because if you get caught eating, they'll tell you to leave. So that's what I understand.
If they catch you eating food, they'll give you COVID.
They'll give you COVID. Gee, the resident LA expert. First of all, I am from LA, but I was reading a report about what was going on in the movie theater.
When's the last time you've been in LA, Greg? When's the last time you were there?
It's been a while. I mean, to be honest, it's been a while.
I'm pretty sure I've been in LA much more than you have.
You've probably been to LA. I've been there. Last time I was there was maybe about 12 or 15 years ago. Yeah. So, been a while.
That's back when they still had like horse-drawn buggies and stuff, I think.
Oh, yeah. Kirsten says she is LA. According to her, she invented it. And now Kirsten's taking over the show. And I won't have that. No, just kidding. But so maybe this is good news for us. Maybe it's good news that we're going to get theaters back soon if you are into that sort of theater thing. So look forward to that. We'll probably have more news on that later on as well. Other than that, I wanted to hit. There's no other huge news, but I did want to hit a couple of interesting. Get the new releases, by the way, Gannon, for Blu-rays because I want to get into that.
Before we get into the regular segment, a little more kids Netflix, kids Disney Plus going on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So my kids have made me aware. I don't know if you guys knew this, but there's like Disney has this shared universe, like multi-series superhero kids show called Lab Rats. And
okay.
Yeah,
Never heard of it.
There are multiple series. There's like 4 different shows, and each of them have more than one season. They have like 3 seasons each. Freddie Prinze Jr. is in this series. Like this is like one of the incubation tanks for the future Disney stars. They're like, where the hell did Lindsay Lohan come from? It's shows like this, like they're basically creating like the next generation of Disney stars in it. And the show is just bizarre. It is so, they're bionic humans and they live in a kid's basement, but each series is different too. Like different stuff happens. Like it's not just Lab Rats. There's Elite Force. There's Mighty Med. Okay, they're in a hospital that serves only heroes.
And this is on Netflix?
It's on Disney Plus. It's Disney shows. But when my kids were watching them, all these series have different names, but you see the same actors in them, and you're like, but this one's called Mighty Med, this one's Lab Rats, this one's Elite Force. It's a shared universe across like 4 or 5 television series. Like they've been building this thing for over a decade. It's
Shut your mouth. Are you serious?
Yeah, it's so weird. But
it's called Lab Rats, though. Lab Rats.
Lab Rats is one of the
It's been around for a while.
There it is. Yeah, Disney Lab Rats and Lab Rats Elite Force.
And Mighty Med. And there's another show, too. Shoot, what's the other one?
Mighty Med?
Mighty Med.
Most of the Disney shows, even back when they were, still the Disney Channel, the characters would interact with each other, like from show to show. So that's all what this is. It's just a carrying on of tradition, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm interested. I'm interested.
So it's high level sitcomming. It's obviously Disney kid friendly stuff. Mm-hmm. But like I said, Freddie Prinze Jr.'s in it, so it's you're like kind of curious why he's there. You're like, is he being punished or something? Like,
to be fair, every time I see Freddie Prinze Jr. in something, I'm always like, why is he there?
How dare you? How dare you? Well, apparently, Mighty Med came out in 2013 and 2014. There was 2 seasons of that, and then the other one was Lab Rats. You said, right? Lab Rats.
Yeah.
Huh.
But there's more shows too than just those, and I can't even remember all their names.
Yeah. Carl Lamont in the chat tells Kirsten to make sure she lifts with her knees because she's carrying the show. And Kirsten says, Carl Lamont, I don't have knees. I had to streamline for efficiency, which, ironically enough, if I believe Kirsten on that for sure.
Is she like Hank Hill's father-in-law?
She could be. She could be. These are older shows, Alika. These are like 2012 to 15, 13 and 14, and then the latest one is 2016. Interesting. Okay.
I thought there was something more recent too. Maybe I might be wrong, but my kids have been watching this for months, and there's like hundreds of episodes.
There is. It looks awful. To be fair, I mean, looking at
it's. I was wondering if I actually died and went to hell.
And did you?
Yeah. Well, okay. Freddie Prinze Jr. was there. That was my sign.
How dare you? How dare you?
No, I mean. Well, speaking of Freddie Prinze Jr. in sitcoms, by the way, I willingly watched the new Punky Brewster show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, and
I actually did like it, and if I was a kid, I think I'd like it even more. As an adult, there's some cringy stuff in it, but I'm also super nostalgic. So, Cherry Johnson and Punky Brewster together again. It's awesome. The first episode is a little awkward because she keeps on like talking to a picture of Henry Warnemont.
Yeah.
He's like, it's just like a little out of place. Like they're really trying to tie it back to the original series super hard. But, I thought it was cute. I like it.
Oh, the fact that you use cute makes me not want to watch it.
It's a cute show. It's Punky Brewster. That's what it's supposed to be about.
What do you think he was going to say? Like a hard and gritty noir thriller?
That's what I was looking for.
That's
what I was looking for.
It was a gritty reboot, basically.
Is she an undercover cop taking?
Yeah, Punky. They send her to work in a sweatshop and they forget about her assignment. She just gets left in the sweatshop.
Is she taking drug addicts off the street?
Yeah,
scum.
The reason why she wears different color shoes is because she had to kill somebody for each shoe, just a different person for each shoe. That's what happened.
Speaking of Disney Plus,
did you just do Punky Brewster, but it's The Wire?
I can see that. I can totally see
in
that.
The Wire, literally just The Wire.
I can totally see it. That'd be so sweet.
Like she's all grown up now. Now she's a cop in the tough streets, having to figure things out and stuff. I'd like that.
Kirsten in the chat wanted to let us know that we better thank Carla Mano for distracting her in the chat so she can't blow the proverbial horn of Gondor to cancel the show, which she would never do.
Who said something cancel-worthy? It wasn't me this time.
No, it was definitely you.
Well, G Money is sitting right there.
Oh, that's right.
I am right here. I did. Speaking of Disney Plus, I did have the opportunity to watch Raya and the Last Dragon.
Oh, you paid $30, you animal?
No, I don't. I didn't have to.
You bootlegged it.
I'm a movie critic, so I get to watch things.
He's on somebody's Flex account.
No, I'm not.
I'm not. They didn't really advertise that this was going to be one of those $30 movies. I thought we were going to watch it for free. And then my kids were all excited, and we go to watch it, and I'm like, I ain't paying $30 for this crap.
Well, the problem with this movie is, first of all, there was no show enough, and there was no Bruce Leroy.
Wait. Did you just say there's no show enough?
No show enough, and no Bruce Leroy. None. I was really pissed. After I got over that, I'm going to tell you something. This is a Disney animated film, not Pixar. I got to tell you that I was not enamored with it. It's not I didn't think it was that good. I would definitely not pay $30 for it.
It's The Last Dragon.
Yeah, good. Raya and the Last Dragon. Animation was top notch for sure. I didn't think the story was there. It was definitely underwhelming. It's essentially basically a story about
this guy, but I don't think that movie was made for you.
No, it's not. You're right. You're absolutely right. But I can enjoy movies that are like this.
Yeah, it's made for actual Asians. G.
Right. God forbid.
Which is funny because the Asian that's saying that wouldn't pay the $30 to see it.
That's so true. That's so freaking true. First of all, I am an actual Asian, half an Asian. All right.
That's debatable.
Yeah,
Not the
easy.
Yeah. Actually, no, I take that back. That's probably the only part of you that's any good.
Wow.
He's Asian.
I will say this: I did not to equate the two, but I thought Raya and the Last Dragon was better than Soul. I did not like Soul at all. So if you're
because of all the black people,
yeah, I was just gonna say.
Shut your mouth.
I love White Vision. I hated Soul.
Kirsten says you're one Snyder Cut comment away. Try me, according to her.
But
all right, sweet.
Who's that to, though? I don't know who she's saying this to.
I don't know. So that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Next month we are going to get the Snyder Cut of Raya and the Last Dragon only on Disney Plus.
You know, it'd be kind of funny that the whole Snyder Cut thing is just like that's what they say about everything now. Like, give me the Snyder Cut of Goodfellas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it just becomes like the thing people say when they want a director's cut.
It becomes its own monster.
It's like Band-Aid. It's like they forget that the brand name is not the name of the thing. So
yeah, exactly.
Oh, like Oreos and Hydrox.
I want the Snyder Cut of the Phantom Menace.
First of all, Kirsten in the chat once again says, "Hey, G, is your gender potato? No. Are you okay since losing your representation recently?" Of course, that's a shot, Mister. He's now still Mr. Potato Head, by the way, Kirsten. So how dare you?
Mister. He dropped. Can you not say Mister anymore, G?
No, you can.
Are you trying to get canceled? Are you trying to get canceled?
Hasbro retracted it. Did you not see that? That they retracted that, and they're keeping with Mr. Potato.
They retracted his penis. It's kind of like your penis.
I didn't know that a potato was gendered, but whatever. Go figure. Go figure. Anyway, a couple of quick news bites on gaming, and then we'll get to our new releases. First off, the acquisition of Bethesda did go down today. Microsoft has officially acquired Bethesda today. And on top of that, Microsoft has said that Bethesda moving forward, Bethesda games will be exclusive to Xbox, which is huge news. Phormat believes that will be a gated release, and I kind of agree with him on that because you wouldn't want to lose out on the PS5 money for sure, on the Sony money. So I'm going to say that he's right about the gated release thing, but Microsoft has the money to be bold enough to say you're not getting Elder Scrolls 6.
I'm not saying it's gonna be like a 3-week release window or anything. Like they can do the Sony Spider-Man thing and like not and be console exclusive for like a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's to me that seems fair. They own
it does seem fair. Yeah.
And Sony will definitely do that from time to time as well, depending on the title.
It's not like Xbox is getting Ghost of Tsushima or The Last of Us.
Yeah, there you go.
So anyway, that's coming out. Also, another piece of news for those of you that are gamers. According to most gaming news reports today, GameStop online got more orders for if you wanted to order an Xbox, a new Xbox, or a new PlayStation 5. They did come out today, so you may be able to get one if you wanted one. So just be aware of that as well.
GameStop? You mean
GameStop
going out of business? GameStop?
Yeah, that GameStop. You know those guys.
Man, those stocks are really paying off.
Yeah, Kai. Before we move out of gaming news, anything else that I'm missing on the gaming news side?
Yeah, tell us more about Borderlands.
I'm actually playing the demo for Outriders, which should be coming out in about April. It's actually a pretty fun game.
Can I tell you that I played the demo and I thought it sucked? So
it's a little bit different when you play on PC. So
how does it feel? Like, what's the gameplay like? Is it like
I kind of having the feel for it pretty well.
I can't remember the name of the game.
I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you what it is really quick, and I'm going to dumb it. I'm not going to even dumb it down. I want to hear you once it. This is just another shooter, a looter shooter, that is very much based on multiplayer. So we're talking 4 guys. We're talking about taking a squad of people out, zones at a time, with special powers and things like that. And there's nothing there that really floats my proverbial boat.
Isn't that already out?
No.
What's the D game? It starts with a D. I know it's on the PlayStation. But it's exactly
Destiny?
Destiny?
Destiny. Destiny's been around.
That's Destiny.
Destiny's been around for 10 years, over 10 years.
You say no, but all of the descriptors are the same exact thing for Destiny.
Exactly, Phormat. Exactly.
So it's out.
So essentially, it's the let's put it this way, Phormat, if you want to be that way. The version of Destiny that you're talking about is out, but the version of Destiny called Outriders is not out.
Oh, okay, that makes sense now.
All right, there you go. So it's the same freaking game. It's the same freaking game, and it's not good. I didn't like it.
So this is the Zack Snyder cut of Destiny?
This is the Snyder cut.
Okay.
This is the Snyder cut of Destiny.
Screw you. I'll play whatever I goddamn feel like it, okay? I'll F off both of you, too.
So,
what does that
anyway.
mean, F off? What does the F mean?
Hey.
I'm not allowed to swear.
Don't swear. Stop it. No swearing. Gannon, stop it. Don't make him swear. Gannon.
I'm not making anybody do anything. What are you talking
about? Gannon, would you be so kind as to tell us?
You're making me swear.
what is happening. Today is Tuesday, and of course, every single Tuesday is hard media. And of course, you, sir, are the master of hard media. And the master of hard media.
Is it harder than this rock?
I'm packing all kinds of hard media.
Oh damn!
Hey, ho!
Let's go.
What's coming out today that you found interesting?
It's really kind of a thin week. I mean, we're getting Dread in 4K.
Kirsten says Beetlejuice, 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 and she follows that up with "Y'all did this to yourself."
What does that even mean?
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
If you say
Kristen's
Beetlejuice 3 times, he appears and he just ruins your life.
I know what Beetlejuice means. I don't know what the context is.
Well,
She's an agent.
You said Snyder Cut.
why don't we? She summoned Beetlejuice. Let's summon the Candyman.
Candyman,
All right.
Candyman.
No, wait,
Anyway.
don't say 5 times?
Can we please not?
Oh, by the way,
See?
Greg, I have this videotape I found in a cabin I want you to watch.
I'm in.
So anyway, getting back to it, Dredd, the Carl Urban Judge Dredd movie on 4K today. If you're
The
interested in
Snyder
that.
Cut of Dread.
Release the Snyder Cut of Dredd.
It's the
Ron.
it's
How
the
dare
remake.
you, Ron? How dare you?
It's the
Ron
remake
says, "What's that?"
of the Raid.
Wow.
To be fair, I've been saying since the beginning they have a better show than us anyway. So Ron really is he just knows what's up.
Yeah, Ron says he does listen to Masters of the Obvious, and he says honestly he only listens to whatever this thing is. Thanks, Ron.
I keep trying to get on their show, but they won't take me. Okay, moving along. This is I'm just gonna throw this out because of what happened here yesterday. The Dam Busters.
Damn!
Oh,
Wow!
too soon.
This one
Dude.
will excite you, Greg. My Girl 1 and My Girl 2 is coming out on Blu-ray.
I never liked either one of those movies.
Yeah,
to be
it's
fair.
the second one with zombie Macaulay Culkin.
That
Hologram
would-
Macaulay Culkin.
yeah,
It's
Austin
hologram
O'Brien.
Macaulay Culkin, but they're zombie bees.
It's hologram Culkin. Milk Creek. I don't know if you've seen these. These are the VHS re-release.
Dude, turn down the music.
You really turn the music up higher than me right now?
Back to My Girl though. Who, as a kid, remembers watching My Girl 1, and then they had a sequel, and you're like, "Let me go through that emotional torture again."
True.
Can I watch Macaulay Culkin die one more time? Or what do you got up your sleeve, My Girl 2?
Greg, you need to adjust your mix. Alika's fighting the music right now. What are you
And
thinking?
it's
There you go. How's that?
in My Girl 2, he dies to swinging paint cans.
Fair.
He makes a bolt gun to shoot a cat with, and he accidentally kills himself with it.
Oh man.
By the way, Kirsten, I did put up Ron's comment, but I'm not going to put it up for the rest of the show. I don't put anybody's comment for the rest of the show.
Just pin the comment. Pin the comment.
On the show? Fine.
Just do it.
Screenshot it and send it to us.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, that's always nice. Yeah. All right. So what else is coming out today?
This one will be an exciting one for you. Stop or My Mom Will Shoot on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
I don't know.
baby.
That was the movie that Sylvester Stallone got tricked into making.
That's right. He did.
Arnold Schwarzenegger tricked him into making it.
Did.
What's going on? Where's the camera for?
Yeah, he did. What else is coming out today?
Gorillas in the Mist.
The one with Sigourney Weaver?
Amy,
I don't know another
Amy,
Gorillas in the Mist
friend.
movie.
Is that the one?
There's a Jackie Chan movie that just came out that
That's the one, right?
That's so fun. Which one, Gannon?
No, I'm done. We're good.
No, which one? What else? He was
Huh?
just making fun of Gorillas in the Mist. That was funny.
No, that's it.
That's it for real?
Yeah, dude.
That's all I remember from Gorillas
That's
in
all I
the
got.
Mist. Is
Wow.
that and an Ice Cube song?
Wow.
Hey,
Unbelievable.
did you guys know that Pokemon at McDonald's is officially over, by the way? I just wanted to throw that out there.
Nice.
There's
And-
Did you win?
That's
Did you
it.
get anything?
I won the Pokemon.
Did you win, son? Nice.
You won the Pokemon. Well, good for you. I'm so glad it's over. Ron says, I'm waiting for G to say something inappropriate again, which I probably will because it's almost time for us to go. Just so you know, there is a very interesting documentary on Netflix, which I think some of you might enjoy. It's called Age of Samurai Battle for Japan. It's on Netflix now. If you're interested in any of
is that new Tom Cruise documentary?
Yes, it stars him and Ken Watanabe.
He's
check
the last one.
Yeah, he's the last samurai.
He's the absolute last one.
Yeah, he's the absolute last one. So if you are interested in any
like how
Japanese
Brad Pitt's a Mexican.
So check it out. Age of Samurai Battle for Japan. I highly recommend. Very cool show. So check that out for sure.
Did you watch Crazy Samurai?
400 versus one.
Yeah, I finally got around to seeing it last night.
How is it?
And
it's not as exciting as you're gonna want it to be. To be completely honest,
I can't imagine it would be if it's just one continuous shot.
Well, the thing of it is like it has a decent setup for the story of it, and like, but the thing of it is, you're thinking like, oh well, they must have really intricately choreographed this whole thing for one continuous shot. And I really hate to say it, the idea of it sounds really cool, but once it gets started, it literally looks like there was no choreography at all. Like you just see people approaching him, and he's doing like really quick, like not very elaborate looking choreography at all.
Right.
He looks like Chuck Norris in Walker, Texas Ranger, is what you're saying.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
But
the question,
low roundhouse kids.
I have to tell you something. I did watch the trailer, and I did get a whiff of that, Gannon. I mean, it didn't look as choreographed.
Well, when you actually watch it, like you see guys attack him, and it's like really quick, like deflections, not very interesting, dynamic looking action. But anytime he kills somebody, it's actually really hilarious to watch after a while because he'll kill somebody, and then they kind of stagger run off camera. And you know that they're doing that because they obviously don't have 400 people.
Right.
So the guy will stagger out of frame. Like you literally see them run off a frame, and then he's probably sneaking in back somewhere else to keep coming.
Nice.
And like, everybody's wearing outfits that are very interchangeable. So you know, unless you're really paying attention, you won't even know it's the same guy coming after him. And then there's scenes like where the camera will have people running behind him where they have clear shots at him at all times. But nobody ever tries it. But yeah, I mean, and it just kind of meanders. Like it just goes and goes and goes to the point where you're just like, it almost kind of feels like they wanted to see if they could get away with it more than make a good movie.
Oh, you mean like, this is what we're spending our money on, and
like they just, it's that thing Ian Malcolm says. They were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think whether or not they should. That's basically this movie. They're just like, let's do one big action scene. But then, like I said, like the fighting is not really that exciting to watch.
Okay.
And it just moves from one location to another location. People are running off a camera. Like it's kind of, after a while, you're just kind of laughing at how it's playing out versus like the idea of what they could have done with it, I guess.
So don't bother.
A little bit more. Well, again, unless you really want to see how this thing works, then, out of curiosity, but it is kind of boring to watch.
Well, I am not watching it then. Forget it. I'm not even going to bother.
I would say watch it out of curiosity, just to see it, because like I said, there had to have been a certain degree of camera setups and staging because it does go from one location to another. And I don't think that they did zero choreography, but it's not the Matrix. You know what I'm saying? It's not very dynamic fighting. It's literally just hit here, hit there, hit there. Then he tags one guy in the head. Then that guy stagger runs off camera. And then one guy dies, and you can literally see one dude just kind of like helping him away from off camera. Like it's kind of funny because you just can tell that they don't have enough people to keep filling the screen, or they just constantly have somebody just laying there as more and more people are approaching. Like that's the only way they can make it work.
Wow. All right. Well, then I'm passing. I am definitely passing.
Though, the Crazy Samurai, I think he's my new Idris Elba. That is one good-looking man.
I thought you meant he should be James Bond. Is what I thought you meant by that.
No,
comment.
well, I mean that too, but Idris Elba, man. Mm-hmm.
Really? I didn't know you had Idris
I've said
Elba
this
feelings.
before, but this Japanese guy, he might be my new Idris Elba.
Really? Wow.
I mean, I would definitely be the cream filling in that cookie. That's all I'm saying.
Wow. All right. Well, thanks for the overshare, pal. Appreciate that very much.
I want to walk you through that image, really.
Kirsten is calling you out, Gannon, for queer baiting. So I think you're gonna get canceled tonight.
What?
That's what she said. Anyway, gentlemen, I think it's time to get the hell out of here. We're done. We're I don't know what is that format.
Wait,
before we
what's
go,
that?
let's take a look at that. Yeah.
I
Let's
don't
see.
know.
Let's go.
I'm just
Do it again.
scribbling.
Yeah. Put it
I'm
up
just
again. Let's
scribbling
see.
on the show notes.
Oh, the show. You're scribbling on the show notes. Hey, that's the guy from 400 versus 1. That's what it looked like.
No, it's not. Not at all. Not even a little bit.
Wow. All right.
Damn.
Wow.
He's not dressed like that at all.
Jeez. Wow.
The hair's completely wrong.
Big shout out to Holly, who's in the chat as well. Hi, Holly. She seems nervous.
What
I
are
don't
these
know why.
boxes you're posting? We don't know what that is. You're
Hey,
posting
Hol.
comics, but we don't know what they are.
It's a emoji that is a nervous emoji with the teeth. That's what that is.
Oh,
Yeah.
that could be anything from this side. It could have been an eggplant for all I know.
Yeah.
Yes, Kirsten. I take show notes.
Yes, it's very good.
They
Kirsten.
never get
It's always
followed,
important to have
but I
notes.
do take show notes.
It's very apropos of this show.
At
Anyway,
least somebody put in some
apropos.
thought as to having
I
notes for
get
the
it,
show.
dang right, I gotta host the damn thing.
Hey, wait.
Anyway.
Did we talk about Coming to America?
Oh, we didn't.
Wow.
All right.
You
I'm gonna tell you something.
didn't-
Just
Wow.
talk about it.
That is how forgettable that movie is. So let's just do this really
stop.
quick.
Oh, stop.
All right, here we go. All right,
Wow, we
let's.
almost breezed right past. Coming
We
to
did.
America.
We did.
You know why he didn't want to talk about it, right? He was so fixated on White Vision, he forgot about Coming to America.
You know what's funny is I have it listed on the show notes.
Oh, do you really?
I
Wow.
don't even have notes, and I remembered to bring that up.
All right. Well, listen. Before we go, we might as well give our thoughts on Coming to America. The Coming to America review. Alika, we'll start at the top. What did you
Since
think?
Alika's the big fan.
Yeah.
The nostalgia guy. I mean, everybody's
Mhm.
nostalgic. But, you know, I think I said it all in the chat. Basically, the thing you would expect me, the nostalgia person, to really like the direct, you know, McDowell's and all that. I thought the McDowell's stuff sucked.
It didn't hit. I agree.
Yeah. But I like the family friendly stuff. I like the new actors who were in it, the daughters, the son. I thought the cast was great. And, you know, Michael Cannon pointed out it's not the same kind of movie. The first Coming to America wasn't family friendly. It wasn't appropriate for kids. You know, the royal penis is clean. That kind of stuff wasn't happening in this movie. They did
made
a
a
great
penis
Where
joke in the
Leslie Jones
movie.
is somebody going down on her in her hot tub.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But they didn't say the word vagina.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't lean on it, but I mean, yeah.
I think it's a little more cleaner than Coming to America, the first one was.
A little bit more Mel Brooks-ish.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was like a Disney version of Coming to America, pretty much, to bring it to a wider audience.
That's
Yeah.
not good for Eddie. That's terrible for Eddie because he's trying to get out of that.
Eddie's like almost in his 70s. Take a chill, bro. Let the dude rest on his laurels and have like some
He's trying to get out of that.
Let him grow up.
I
a
didn't
little
know
bit,
he was
right?
trying to get out of that, out of the family friendly thing.
That was the whole point of doing Coming to America. His next movie apparently is going to be Beverly Hills Cop. He's going to do that again.
Yeah, look, he did that movie. He did My Name is Dolomite is my name.
Dolomite is my name.
Right.
That movie was freaking incredible, and
It was
definitely,
good.
definitely
It was
not family friendly. I think he doesn't need to prove himself after that. I think we know he's still got it, you know. So
I mean, if he wants to, he should, remake Pluto Nash.
I gotta say, I mean,
I'd rather see a Meteor Man remake than Pluto Nash.
Did you enjoy it?
Meteor Man.
So you liked the
It's the new Meteor Man with him.
Yeah.
He's Meteor Man this time.
Alika, you liked it then. Is that correct?
Yeah, I liked it.
Phormat, did you get a chance to see it?
Yeah, I saw it. I liked what I saw, but nothing. Like I had it playing in the background, so if there was a lot of sight gags this time around,
There were a few. But
from what I could hear, like I liked it. Like the script is what you would expect. You know what I mean? Like they didn't really push any boundaries, but they didn't like. You know what I mean? It's Coming to America. It's what you would expect from Coming to America.
Okay. Gannon, what about you?
I mean, I don't want to be too critical of what's supposed to be a comedy movie, but it was a mixed bag. There was stuff in it. I mean, there was a lot of stuff in it I liked. It was a heartwarming movie towards the end of it, but I couldn't get over this feeling that for all of that comedic talent in front of the camera, a lot of it felt lazy.
Yep.
Like it does. I mean, you could still be fun and not necessarily edgy, but funny. It kind of almost felt like these people are in it. That's funny enough.
Yeah,
it kind of felt like that. Like just having Tracy Morgan, that's funny enough that he's there.
Yeah,
and a lot of the stuff
that's a good point.
Very lazy.
It's very much like how how like we often say that our best material is when we're off the air. Like that could have been Coming to America. Like they could have just let the cameras run and they just riff off each other all day.
Well, yeah, that's the funny thing about it. They show outtakes at the end of the movie it's like the only times I actually laughed about the movie.
Right.
But granted, they're outtakes, they're them slipping character and stuff like that. But it almost kind of felt like they were having more fun when they broke character than when they were characters. And I don't know. I kind of felt like they should have not even had the son there. I think it would have been a much more interesting movie if it was just about.
I agree.
Him not having learned anything in 30 years and still sticking to tradition and having to deal with this daughter who's worked her butt off to be the queen. And
I'll tell you that the storytelling there is a little wonky. There are some like logic gaps in the thread of what happens with each of the people, the characters and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
That to make it kind of work. But I like the son. I like the American tie. Like it has to have some kind of tie to America, obviously.
Well, I mean, what they could have done, and I hate to say I could write a better movie because obviously I can't. But let's say the daughter gets fed up with him not honoring what she feels like she could be the next queen, and she takes off to America, and he has to go back and get her.
Then it would have been The Force Awakens all over again. People would have been like, it's too similar, Is
that too similar though? She goes to New York and he follows her there. Nothing like that happens in Force Awakens.
First of all, Rey was in America? I had no idea.
No, I'm not saying it's similar to The Force Awakens. I'm saying people were saying The Force Awakens was too similar to A New Hope.
Oh, okay.
You can get away with that in a comedy movie, though.
It's kind of fair, though. I mean, if she walked into the barbershop and they fired off the same line of jokes, it would have been like, we saw this already.
Well, okay. Can I give you mine?
It would have been cool if Quicksilver was in it, and it actually was the Quicksilver from the Fox X-Men universe. Coming to America cares.
You know what I like, though, is the fact that they had the balls to make it a musical.
They did. The first half was a freaking musical. It was ridiculous. Anyway,
and the second half, too, because Sexual Chocolate stole the show at the end.
It's true. No, if I may, the reason why this felt very contrived was because it was written by a guy that writes sitcoms, and this was a very sitcom-y kind of premise.
I didn't know that. That makes sense.
Kenya Barris is the man who created Blackish and Mixedish, and this has that feel to it. Number one. Number two, I'm gonna go on this is not even a limb. I'm gonna tell you that I thought the movie was awful. Okay,
what?
Awful. I hated it. The best thing about that movie was Wesley Snipes. He was great.
I agree.
Wesley Snipes.
I love Wesley Snipes.
Killed it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's what's at issue.
He's actually
When
the
you-
only actor in that whole movie that looks like he's actually having fun. By the way,
Right, right, exactly. He feels like he's having a good time. He's actually
I mean, I
committed
guess
to this.
Leslie Jones is having fun too, but Leslie Jones is just being Leslie Jones and everything she's in. Really,
Leslie Jones is Leslie Jones in every movie she's in. She's a complete caricature of herself in every single movie.
I think you're missing the point of the Leslie Jones shared universe of movies.
I knew this was going to come up the moment I said something.
the Jones verse, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet you didn't know that Ghostbusters 2016 happens in the same universe as Supermarket Sweep.
I did not know that. That's
Word?
amazing. Here's what's the
Word.
problem with Coming to America. The logic gaps in it are so big that
Greg,
not
it's
even
a
the
comedy movie. Are you looking
no,
for
but-
logic gaps in a
No,
comedy
but
movie?
here's the thing is that the logic gaps are so big that even in the comedy couldn't even cover them up. Like, for instance, you're telling me that Akeem's sidekick, the man who's been with him over 40 some odd years, all of a sudden leaks out the fact that he somehow knows that this chick was pregnant? What is she? Were they writing to one another or something? Like, is
Why
that
not?
how he knows? It
Why not?
doesn't. Number one, it doesn't make any sense. Number two, him secretly going back to
They
America.
are kind of rich and affluent, though. You don't think that he would keep tabs just to see what happens in case they get bit in
No,
the butt by it
because-
later, like they actually do?
Because Arsenio Hall's character was more concerned about getting his rocks off and sowing his royal oats over Akeem, right?
Have you ever had a one night stand and be like, "Oh my god, I hope I didn't get her pregnant, and hope that doesn't bite me in the ass in 30 years"?
I
Because
have
I
more
don't think you are the type.
I have more respect for women than I have one night stands. But number two.
Wow.
You're the thing I'm
Bravo.
right now.
Well done.
Number two.
I like the stance
I'm sorry.
you took there.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Terror-gendered person is watching right now. Is what you're saying?
Here's the other
I
issue.
like how your aura like shone like a paragon of equal
Of virtue.
Yeah, oh
Virtue.
yeah, there. Virtue. Right.
Virtue. The other problem I
Gross.
had is when King Akeem goes back to America, and all he has to go on is a stupid picture of a really stupid drawing of his kid, and he happenstances upon him in front of a Knicks game scalping tickets. That is sitcom to the fullest. He's the king of Zamunda. He could have made it known. He could have made it known that he was the king. When he came to
You're
America.
getting hung up on weird details, and again,
It's
what's a comedy
but it
movie.
doesn't make any sense. It's stupid because he's now the king. Wouldn't it be easier to announce that he's coming to America and that he could hold a press conference and hold up the stupid picture and go, "I am looking for my son. This is who he is." Wouldn't it be
He
easier
doesn't
to?
talk in that accent. That's really racist.
Okay,
Oh,
that is
man.
not that is not. That's what
He
I'm
doesn't
just
talk
saying.
like that at all.
It kind of hurts the ears.
Okay, first of all, he is looking for his kid. In the best way, how does he happenstance upon his kid?
I'm looking for my kid. I'm
Right.
looking.
What wouldn't you be
Oh
looking
man,
for
that
the
hurts.
wouldn't you be looking for the mom, not the kid? You know what I mean? There are just things that didn't make any
the mom
sense.
with the one night stand. I don't know if I'd be excited about finding her myself. Being that
I
oh my God,
agree,
I can't believe
but
they did that.
but if you're going to connect the dots, you go look for the mom. Okay, but
I'm
regardless.
surprised you're getting this hung up on these. It's a comedy movie. It's simply
because
get to point A to B.
because I find the other thing that I found that I didn't like was the fact that I don't think Akeem would have been duped because he went to America in the original to find his queen. That was the joke, right? He would not have been duped by this woman.
he was drugged.
He was with weed. You know what I mean? It just doesn't.
They're
It
not
doesn't.
going to get it too deep into what he was drugged with, Greg. Come on now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if this was a bad script from the start. Craig Brewer is a very
when
talented.
they first announced this, and I heard the premise, I was like, when? Because I could have sworn when they first got to America, he set eyes on Lisa, and it was it.
Right, exactly.
Like I was just like, when did this happen?
Exactly. Like he set eyes on Lisa and he knew. So
if it's a comedy movie, I'll go along with a silly comedy premise just to get through your story that you want to tell. That stuff doesn't bother me.
I think it diminished the character of Akeem is what I had a problem with. I will
You're
say
not worried about him as a distinguished character. It's just
yes.
comedy.
You know why? Because this was supposed to be a movie about black excellence, Gannon. All right. Now,
Is that what the movie's about?
That in my, according to the reports, that we can't criticize it because it was about black excellence
family and stuff like that. And
I have to tell you that there is something else that I really enjoyed about the movie. Okay, it wasn't Eddie Murphy and it wasn't Arsenio Hall because I thought they were some of the worst parts of the film. But let me tell you something.
When Arsenio Hall came out as the shaman, that wasn't the best thing in that movie.
I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was funny.
My favorite part of any of that movie.
I didn't think the foreskin joke was that hilarious. I thought that was stupid.
Are you kidding me? I thought that was hilarious.
I hated that. I hated that joke.
I thought it was funny in that movie.
Let me tell you what I did like, and I think they did get right, were the daughters. I thought the daughters were great. I thought
they get short shrift. Like they're almost kind of there as decorations. Like
exactly, they were set pieces.
They have distinctive personalities. Each one of them are kind of interesting. You want to see them spend more time with them, but it kind of seems like they just show up to remind you that he has daughters. But yeah, I feel like just jettison the son story, just have it be about him and his daughters.
I agree. I think
going back to what I said, like, I know Alika said, "Oh well, it's Force Awakens," but it kind of goes back to the whole point that Akeem learned nothing. So you could get away with doing that story.
Yes.
Then 30s, he didn't learn anything, and from him having to go follow his daughter, he's like, "Oh my God, this is what I did." So it kind of helps bring that all back to the fore. So yes, you're retreading the first movie, but it's kind of with a different context, a different excuse, a whole new perspective with him going now as a grown up with a daughter on the line. Him not. I mean, it's a little contrived to have to deal with the barbershop, but who's to say she finds it first? It'd be him finding it first. You know what I mean? Here's
one contrivance. By the way, Kirsten says I said that
they're all contrived.
Here's the one part of the movie that I thought could have used a very simple contrivance, and it would have worked. I think if at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, by the way, at the end of the movie, and they're in the church, I thought that Leslie Jones's character would whisper in Akeem's ear to say that he wasn't really your son. Right. That she would have said that. And that Tracy Morgan was the dad. And I think that
kind of make it a little dark at the end where like there was an elaborate lie now.
No, but no, it's not the elaborate lie.
Why would Arsenio Hall think that was his kid if that's the case?
No, but what it does is it makes him realize, as Akeem, the character, it would make him realize that the commitment would be to his daughter, not to this bastard son.
But that's you giving an out to that.
But that's the point. I mean, that would have been a simple sitcom contrivance.
There's no reason why he should still be whatever.
Right, but Akeem would have brought them back anyway and made him an ambassador regardless.
If they were going to keep the son, it actually would have been kind of more interesting to see the son be like, you know what, I don't want any of this. I just want to kind of go back to my old life with this woman I just met here, Zamunda. Yeah. I just want to go back to my old life with her. I just don't. That actually would have been interesting if you're keeping the son, then just the daughter becomes the queen down the road.
Yeah, and then the thing was that
his girlfriend had to make it neat where everybody wins. Like, oh, I'll make you the ambassador for New York and stuff, and they had to make it neat for everybody.
First of all, Ken says Greg probably hates Zoolander. First of all, I love Zoolander. Not a fan of Zoolander 2. First of all, Blue Steel, excuse me, is
Blue
fantastic.
Magnum.
What is it? God dang it. Anyway, listen.
Steel, fool.
Blue Steel.
Isn't that the Jamie Lee Curtis movie?
No, it's Blue Steel. That's what I thought. Kirsten, by the way, I'll bring that one back up. Kirsten said good night to everyone but you. How dare you, Kirsten? I was defending your honor as a woman.
Kirsten.
All right, good night, Kirsten.
I promise they hate Snyder.
Regardless of how you feel about me, I still like you. Anyway, I'm assuming I'm taking a wild crack that the NERDWatch that is commenting is Aron. And Aron says you can't blame the bad script on Kenya Barris for him being a sitcom writer and creator because Barris's writing on Blackish is much smarter and sharper than he does in Coming to America. Aron also says director Craig Brewer is to blame too. He is no Landis, which is true. I think it was missing John Landis's touch. He doesn't have the experience or magic like John Landis to direct something of this caliber. Eddie Murphy looks super bored walking in and out of frame, which I kind of agree with. He does much better.
Is John Landis still as good as he was 30 years ago, though?
We would never know that. He does much better.
Has he directed anything anybody cared about?
True.
He did Beverly Hills Cop 3. Guess what? That's the worst one.
Well, I think he's right. He does much better when
We
he's
cannot keep
caked
saying these
in
directors
makeup.
are amazing just because they did stuff in the past. It was amazing. Some of these guys lose their touch.
Well, we would never know if he didn't get another shot. According to Aron, he says he does much better when he is caked in makeup. Eddie Murphy in makeup and looks to be having a lot more fun. Wow, that's interesting.
I'm actually surprised.
And finally, Kirsten wanted to say that I'm on her proverbial bad boy list for talking smack on the podcast when we started. I wasn't talking smack. That was Gannon. You're talking. That's the wrong G. It's not me. It's Gannon.
What smack are you talking about, Greg?
You're Zack Snyder crap.
That's
Anyway.
smack.
Yeah,
Pointing out that a movie exists is not smack.
Apologize. Okay. It wasn't. I don't think it was me, but Kirsten, on behalf of myself and the NERDWatch, I do apologize.
Okay,
Oh,
so now that you apologize for that, can you apologize for graduating from the Rush Limbaugh Institute of being
Advanced Conservative Studies?
Advanced Windbag Studies. There you go. Apologize. Can you apologize?
Hens. I'm not too sure what. I don't know what that means.
called
What's-
it-
I think that you probably did use that word.
Yeah, you did.
Before.
You did.
I did.
Yes, you
Did I?
did.
Yeah.
Go
It
back
sounds
and
like
look.
something you would do.
Yeah, you said it.
Using it. Okay. All right. If I.
Bleep, blorp, bleep, blorp.
Yeah,
Hey,
bleep, bleep, blorp, blorp.
America not accurate. Didn't like it. Didn't like it when I did it.
You
Isn't
sound
it
like
weird?
Lot Cambor from Phantom Menace.
I know.
Isn't it weird that this is when he glitches?
You notice how he only
Problems in the
glitches when
world?
he tries to apologize. I think he's doing it on
No,
purpose.
no. It
He's
looks
pinching his cables to slow
no.
it down.
all right. All right.
What's that, R2? Timmy stuck in the well? Beepler, beepler, blank, blank.
Okay. All right. Hey, we're out of time. We gotta get out of here. Going to America. Okay. I know you guys can't hear me on the live feed because it's bad. That's getting bad here.
Oh, we lost.
Oh, guess what now? I
Good
want to
night,
swear.
Kirsten.
For Alika and for Kai Kai. Peace out. Much love and most assuredly, always stay nerdy.
Jill.
We'll see you back here next time, only on the Nerd Watch. Aloha.
Bleep, blorp, bleep, blorp, bleep.